What's good, my booskies? I'm Cotton Kitty, and you're in Cotton Kitty's Corner. Thank you for tuning into my ASMR makeup video. I got some good vibes ahead, so stick around and create a soul soothing look with me. After applying both of my primer oils and stimulating blood flow to my face, then I'm going to start working on my eyebrows. It usually takes me a little longer to do my eyebrows, maybe about 20 minutes. But what I like to do is take a small angled brush and some brow powder, or in my case, some eyeshadow, and I like to create myself an outline. But we all make mistakes now, don't we? Here's my first one. Went a little bit outside of my outline area, but everything is fixable, right? So that's what we're going to do. This is a quick fix. So my advice would be to take your finger and slightly wipe the little part you want off and just redo your outline. And there you have it. Perfect eyebrows. So I take a concealer in my angled brush and I fix the lines under my eyebrows. I go ahead and use this brush to sharpen my lines up. So once I drag my angled brush across my eyelid under my eyebrow, I spread the product to the rest of my lid. That way I can create a nice little flat base for my eyeshadow color to adhere to. I repeat this on both sides and drag the product down. It may seem like a lot of product, but it's really not. We're just spreading it around from edge to edge. And we're going to take a coned sponge and we're going to blend this out. This take any excess moisture. It allows for our finishing powder to adhere. And the finishing powder just allow for a matte finish for the color to adhere to. I repeat this step on the top part of the brow, just trying to get that brow nice and crisp as I can. Spread the product out as much as I can and remove any excess moisture. Any imperfections you can go ahead and fill back in, but sometimes mistakes happen, and this is a really big one that happens to me a lot. A misplaced brush, but that's okay. We can fix it real easy with just a little dab of a clean piece of tissue, paper towel. So the finishing powder we put for the lower lid, we'll go ahead and put over the brow and the lid. So if you sweat a lot or you're going to be performing, this may be the thing for you. But sometimes it doesn't work out that way and you just look ashy. That's a quick fix for that. We'll just go ahead and fill in our eyebrows. Again, these are very, very thin layers of makeup. One thing that I do want to note as you're putting down your color, make sure the most pigmented or the darkest place you want to place your color is the place where you first put it down. So if you want your color to be darker on the outer edges, place it there first and then blend it out towards the lighter portion of your color scheme. I also like to take my brush and the shape that I want for my eye color. So if I want it to be angled up, I'll make sure to take my brush angled up. That's a little trick to help guide you with your eyeliner to get that wing liner effect. And if you're anything like me, you want to save money any way that you can. So what I typically do is tap my color back into its ring palette and press down. And I get to save as much color as I can. But again, we make a lot of mistakes, and I needed to blend out the edges just a little bit more. Look kind of crazy, right? So I'm gonna rub off my excess color from my brush because I still want some color, but just the excess. And I'm going to try to work those edges, work those edges there. I want to soften it up, I want to blend it out, I want it to be a little bit more romantic, a little less harsh. So I'm going to repeat that. Blend, 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 blend. Maybe I'll take a fresh brush, a flat brush, and use that fresh flat brush to kind of take off some of that color. But if you're anything like me and your ADHD starts to kick in, you see other issues that you may try to fix first and then create an even bigger mess. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and fix this bigger mess up really quickly with some micellar water and just clean up that big old mess. And then I'll clean up my eye shadow issue with some concealer. I'll put a thin layer of concealer around the lower part of my brow just to create some skin break. And this would help me blend out that harsh edge that I wanted to get out of my shadow. So this is going to allow me to blend it out a little bit better than just a dry brush could. And I'll go back with the same brush that I applied the color with just to create that little bit of a romantic transition. And I did want to soften this color up a little bit, so I did punch a pure red in to that burgundy. And it is softening up quite nicely. That's what I wanted it to do. So using this bit of purple on the outer edge will allow me to create that depth that I would like. And because it does kind of have a pearlized finish, it gives me the romantic color that I wanted for the red. So in addition to creating some depth by being a darker color, it actually smoothed out that red a little bit more for me. And I'll take my highlighted color and blend it out under my brow bone to kind of highlight the brow. Give it a nice arch, a nice prominent arch. Sometimes I have to get close because I'm technically blind. So I take my concealer and flat brush. I use the trick of looking up to create the shape of my eye. But I don't go all the way to the edge. I'm just cut creasing halfway across my lid. And I'll blend that out with my flat brush that I use for the concealer and the brush that I use for the purple. And for the top layer, I'll just blend into that concealer. And I do that before I apply my shimmer. And this is the same shimmer that's under my brow bone. I'll apply that first just to create a nice blended look and then blend it all back in. Now mind you, I am not applying new product to my brushes. I'm just allowing the product that's already on the brushes to do that work for me. And I did reapply my primer because I cleaned up quite a bit around my cheek area. So I wanted to go ahead and apply that again. So this is my favorite hack here. I take maybe a less than favorite eyebrow pencil and I create the shape for my eyeliner, my wing liner. If you're like me, you make a lot of mistakes, and with this I can just simply erase and keep going. Take my finger, dab it across. I did not mess up my makeup underneath. and I can still move forward with creating the shape for my wing liner. If you're anything like me, you are not the best at it. It takes a little bit of extra focus. It just takes a little bit of extra effort for me, no matter how many times I do a wing liner. So I figured this way would be a nice little way to get the perfection and the precision that I like, and accommodate for the fact that I don't have 100% the perfect skills in creating a wing liner. So this allows me to help, and I hope that it helps you out as well. So once I have the shape that I like, I'll go in with a small liquid liner, and I usually get these in a form of pens. I'll go in with a liquid liner and create the outline that I drew for myself, and then I'll get my thicker marker and fill in those lines. This way my little fat marker that has larger coverage, I don't have to worry about making it nice and straight lines with it. And because the season is changing, which means that my color base is changing, I have to mix my makeup. I go ahead and put a little dab on the end of my sponge. I should make note that my sponges are always damp, and I use a dabbing motion and not a swiping motion. And I'll apply my concealer and contouring to my face. I left my contouring at home, so I had to use eyeshadow, a brown eyeshadow, but that's okay. It got the job done. So I will go ahead and take my foundation sponge, and I'll blend everything out together. I usually do start off with the low lights, the contouring, before I do the highlighted part or the part where I use the concealer. I usually dab back and forward, up and down, left and right, multiple directions to get the best coverage. I don't swipe. I pat, 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 pat. I found that dabbing creates the best coverage, but sometimes we can cover a little too much and get kind of flat there, and that's what happened. I got a little flat, but that's okay. We can fix that really easy by reapplying our contour. I did not put additional makeup on my brush. I just used the brush and the product that was already on the makeup brush. So we like to keep things nice and light, nice and airy, so that we're not bogged down by a whole bunch of makeup. I use the same finishing powder for my eyes. I'm going to use this on the highlights of my face. I like to highlight just above my cheekbone, the bridge of my nose as well, and my forehead. This is where the light is going to hit you the most. I do put a little under my contouring line just to kind of give that added sculpture, and I will put it on my chin because that's where highlight is going to go as well. I usually try to bake for maybe a minute or so, so it's usually enough time to put my eyelashes on and to apply mascara. In this case, I had new eyelashes. I just bought a new pair, and it took me a little while to get it out of its packet right after I did my mascara. So before I put it on, I decided to just go ahead and hurry up and take it off before I bake too much. I didn't want to bake as long as I did. But here we go, looking as if we've never seen lotion a day in our lives. So I just take the rest of it off, and I get my trusty makeup sponge, the same sponge I've applied all of my foundation and contouring with. And I go over my face in those little highlighted areas that looked a little ashy. So that's a nice little fix for that problem. Now with your eyelashes, you definitely want to be careful. So you want to put your eyelash glue, or in my case, I use hair glue. I put a little bead on, spread it across, and I blow on it to make sure that it's nice and tacky. I don't want it on while it's too wet because the fumes can be a little irritating if it's too wet. And if I wait too long, which in this case exactly what I did, your lashes won't really stick correctly, so they'll just come up just like that. And for your quick fix, you just pull off the little strings of glue and reapply your bead. I do use one bead and spread it across, and I blow on it to get it tacky, but sometimes the second go around doesn't work too well either, so you have to pull it off and try again. But practice makes perfect, right? And we got it on this version, we got it on this try. So after combing our lashes into our fake eyelashes, we'll apply our blush. I like to wipe off any excess. Once I get on the opposite side, wipe it off again and blend it in. But we don't want to look like a clown, right? So the trick is to take our trusty beauty sponge and blend. It already has all of the colors that you need, all of the highlights and the lowlights that you need, all of the foundation coverage that you need, and you don't need any additional product. You just blend. If you want to sculpt a little more, go ahead and do that. So after applying my highlighter, where I applied my concealer and bake for the highlighter, I'm going to smooth that out with a round edge brush. It allows me to get the sculpting that I want. And sometimes we can come out just a little bit too shiny, which I did here. Just a little too shiny for my liking, so I take my trusty blender brush, yes, my blender sponge, and I just tame it down to where I'm comfortable, and then we can move on to the lips. So I think that it is worth mentioning that my lips aren't the same shape on either side. So I like to use a liner to create an even shape from one side to the next. Sometimes I have to round it out, sometimes I have to make it more sharp, but the purpose is to create an even look and to create your dark creases underneath your highlighted color. Now I'm going to apply my highlighted color, which is going to be a pink. It's just a nude pink, a local beauty supply store run, and then a bubblegum pink right in the center to create a kind of highlight. So I'm going to set everything with a matte finishing spray and dry it out, and we have a completed look. Mist ourselves with some hydration, put a little bit of pixie dust in the corner of our eyes. I like that pixie dust in the corner of the eyes, just for a hint of sparkle, just so our eyes can pop a little bit more. Bring some of that purple color underneath the eyelid. I like to do that a little bit to create a nice finished look. All makeup outside of Juvia's Place came from my local beauty supply store, so make sure you support your local businesses. If you like the vibe today, make sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know anytime Cotton drops down a new video for you. Later.